All right, hello there. Happy Monday afternoon. So, as promised, I am doing a series this week about coaching, about why I decided to become a coach, about what I do as a coach, about how I earn an income on my team, all the goods. But regardless of whether or not you follow me for fitness or the business side of it or the faith aspect or nutrition, I honestly and truly pray that my story inspires you to do whatever it is that you sense God calling you to. And that's the thing I want you to hear from the beginning, from day one today until the end of me sharing my story this week. I pray that you see God's hand in everything that I share with you, because I am just a little old mama from Mississippi, nowhere in Mississippi, who decided to follow the prompting that God had laid on my life. So I'm going to tell you today how I became a coach, how I decided to become a coach. I think anybody can become a coach, but why did I decide to become a coach? And then tomorrow, to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm going to just take you deeper into this whole series of could coaching be your calling? Because it was my calling, and I didn't know it. I didn't expect it. I didn't seek it out. It was just something that honestly God laid in my lap, and I had to make the decision to say yes or to say no. And then every single day I have to make the decision to keep showing up, to keep following his prompting and going where he leads. So first of all, welcome. I am Rachel Mitchell. I am a Team Beachbody health and fitness coach. But before that, I am a wife and a mom, a follower of Christ, and I am still part-time, very little part-time. I still teach some college history courses. So whenever I found coaching in 2014, I had been a mom for, 5 years almost, and I had two small boys. Henry was about in 2014, he would have been 5. And then Milo was just a little younger than that. He was 3. So I was very much in love with my family, in love with my children, in love with my husband. But I had started to postpartum really start to see a change in my body that I had never seen before. You know, I had these 2 beautiful boys, 2 great pregnancies, nursed them both. Thank God for that. And then I had stopped. Everything was going back to normal, or whatever normal is after you have kids. And my body was changing, and I was starting to gain weight. And I had picked up these habits, these behaviors with pregnancy and nursing that left me sitting on the couch at 10 o'clock at night after everybody had gone to bed, savoring the quiet time by myself, but also eating to fill a void that I really didn't even recognize as a void. But I was eating massive volumes of food, and obviously I was gaining weight. I'd never had trouble with losing weight before in my life. Struggled with an eating disorder briefly in college, but I had just found myself at this new foreign place, and I needed something to help me stay accountable, one, to taking care of my body. I wanted something that was going to be a long-term fix, no quick fixes. I'd done all the quick fixes, the fad diets, the slim fast, all that awful stuff. And I knew that with 2 small children looking to me for strength, for leadership, I wanted to do it the right way. So I found a home workout I could do on my own. I found a nutrition plan with these color-coded containers that were going to teach me how to eat. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to go all in and do this. I didn't even tell my husband that I was starting a workout program or trying to do anything like this. I was not confident that this was going to work. Let's just say that. But I was kind of desperate. I was tired of circling that mountain of self-defeat. I was tired of just feeling tired and cranky, and my hormones were a massive, massive problem. And they were wreaking havoc on my marriage and my self-confidence. And so I knew I had to do something, but I didn't want to tell anybody because I was so afraid I would fail. And so I started the program. I pushed play at 4 o'clock in the morning because Milo would get up at 4:30 every day. I didn't have space to work out. I shoved my coffee table out of the way so that I could push play. I cried after my first workout. because it was awful. It was ugly. And I was so out of shape. But I was like, okay, if I'm this defeated today, like I have to do something. I have to do something. And so I did. I got up and I did it the next day. And I felt like I had the flu that whole first week because my body hurt so bad. I portioned my food out. I made a meal plan. I read the book cover to cover and just did what the program told me to do. And I did it all on my own for those first 3 weeks. And guess what? It worked. Like, it worked. I lost like 5 or 6 pounds. I felt really confident about what I was doing for my body. And I thought, okay, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to do another 3 weeks. And I did it. And at that point, I was kind of hooked on the whole process. I knew it worked. I trusted it. Matt started to see a change in me. And I was like, okay, maybe I could find a coach who will hold me accountable. So that's when I found my coach. I just sought her out. I said, hey, can you help me? She was doing the 21-day fix. She was sharing meal plans. I was like, well, maybe she'll hold me accountable. I joined her groups. I just realized there were a lot of women just like me struggling with the same things. And just slowly, each of these things, one stacked on top of the other, was building a story, was building a hunger in my gut, was building this desire to help other women. Just a second. You're going back to Maddox's? Okay, come back in 30 minutes. And so when my coach asked me if I wanted to learn more about coaching, although I said no like 16 times, honestly, I knew that God had already put a desire in my belly. Like, it was just something I could not turn off. It was something I could not stop thinking about. I watched every post that my coach made. We didn't have stories back then, but I read every single post. I watched her work out. I watched her share her story that was so similar to mine. I watched her talk about trips that she was taking and debt they were paying off, and, like, just her team that she was pouring into. And I thought, oh my gosh, like, if I could do that, I would do it, but I can't. Like, that's the doubt that filled my mind. People are going to know I'm a fraud. I'm going to have to tell people I had an eating disorder in college. I'm going to have to tell people that some nights I like sit on the couch and I binge eat cookie dough, right? Like, I had all these lies that Satan was telling me inside my head about why I could not do this thing called coaching. But at the same time, the master, the truth giver, the giver of all good things, God was speaking into me from the other side saying, Rachel, I've got this. Like, I want you to do this. I want you just to say yes, and I want you to take it one day at a time. Your story is not your own. You have a story that could help other people. If there's one person out there, another woman that feels the way that you do and gets relief and finds freedom the way that you are finding freedom, then you're doing what I want you to do, right? And so, like, I'm really big right now on spiritual battles. I'm really big into studying this. I'm really big into recognizing lies and replacing them with truth. And as I look back I didn't even think about this until I started talking, but as I look back, it was a spiritual battle happening in my heart, happening in my head. And you may be sitting there thinking like, okay, Rachel, you're talking about a business. You're talking about multi-level marketing. You're talking about coaching, but you guys, there's no aspect of our lives that God leaves untouched. There's no aspect of your life that God can't use for good. And so I finally listened to God, even though I was went kicking and screaming saying I can't do this, and Matt was very supportive, and I had no reason not to become a coach. And so I just did it, honestly, because my gut told me to. Because even back then in 2014, my faith was not what you see it being today. But again, God wanted to use this experience to grow me into the person that He was calling me to be, that He had created me to be, the person that He knew even before I was born, the person that He knew when I was just a baby in my mama's womb. He knew I was going to do this. And that just blows my mind and just makes me just light up inside. And so this unconventional thing called coaching, I said yes to. And when I started, I had no social media experience. I knew nothing about building a business. I had no team. I had no followers on social media, quite honestly. But I just showed up for my new coach training every single day, and I did what my coach told me to do. She told me to post about my workout on social media, and I did it, and the pictures were awful, and my wording, my captions were kind of silly, but I was just like, if I can inspire one woman to get up and move her body today, then this is worth it. if I can help 3 people join my challenge groups and pay for my own products, my own shake and the stuff that I loved already, then it would be worth it. And so I had no idea what I was doing. I just knew I was supposed to do it. Have you ever done anything like that? Like, has that ever been the case in your own life? And, you know, some people come into this business just confident, ready to roll. That was not me. But I was willing to learn. I was very, very coachable. I knew that if God wanted me to show up, then I was going to show up to the best of my ability, come hell or high water, and I was not going to go down without a fight. Just like I fought for my body, I was going to fight for this new business God gave me. And I did it in the pockets of my day. I stopped watching Netflix at night. I used my commute to work to listen to personal development. I used my lunch break to build my business, and slowly, one day at a time, one post at a time, one invite at a time, one challenge group at a time, I have built a business that has brought me home to my family. A business that I wake up and I love every single day. I don't wake up and I don't love the work necessarily every day, but I wake up with purpose every single day. And honestly, most days I do love the work. Like, that has been a prayer of mine for the last 3 years, that I would fall in love with the work God gave me to do, and that the women that I get to mentor on my team fall in love with the work that we do every single day. And I love it. About 3 years into coaching, it was still scary. It was still awkward. I was growing this little bitty team, but you know, I started to see that I was making enough money to actually think about coming home to my family. Now, Team Beachbody does not guarantee any level of income. It's all dependent upon each person's work and what they do with the business, but I was working 2 to 3 hours a day. I was working my business and I was seeing results, and our income was growing. And Matt and I both at the same time separately started to think about me coming home. And we both also started to think about us homeschooling, which we had never thought about before. And it's just really cool to sit here and tell you this story about how it all started with a struggling, overweight, binge eating mama who needed help in her fitness. And today you see me finding food freedom, building an income, being present with my family. It didn't happen overnight. It did happen one choice at a time. And so if nothing else, if you don't get anything else from the series on what I do as a coach, I want you to hear this. God has a plan for your life. It may be big according to the world's eyes. It may be small according to the world's eyes, but don't run from it. Don't run from it. Whether it is homeschooling your kids, whether it is starting a business, whether it is taking that corporate job or going back to school, or maybe it's just staying right where you are. Maybe it's just staying right there where you are for a little while longer. Listen to him. Listen to him. Go where he leads and trust that calling. If you are in his word daily, if you are seeking his direction in prayer and supplication and fasting, and you are hearing him say, go this way, please don't ignore him. Please don't ignore him. I look back and I think, what if I had ignored this calling to do this wonderful thing and just stayed where I was? Our life would look so different. My faith would look so different. My body would look so different. Not that my body's the most important, but it would not be as healthy as it is today. I know that. I needed the accountability that coaching brought. And so that is a long-winded story of how I made the decision to become a coach, and honestly why I decided to show up every single day for my business, because I could easily stop. I could start something new. I could try something different. I could just coast the growth and the momentum that we've built for a while and before anything happens or my income drops, but I choose not to. I choose to continue showing up, because this is where God wants me to be. This is what he has called me to do at this time in my life. And this, quite honestly, is what brings me joy and purpose. And I love to see the fruit of my hard work and what God has planned for me all along. So that is how I made the decision to become a coach. Tomorrow, in a live session, just like this one at the same time, I'm going to talk about actually, what do I do? What do I do as a coach? You see me posting sweaty selfies. You see me sharing transformations, talking about my team, inviting you to challenge groups. But what does that actually mean? What does that work look like every single day? So if you have questions for me, please drop them below or come into my inbox. If you want more information about coaching, you can always go to the link in my bio that says Team Take Heart. But follow along. ask me questions. If nothing else, I would ask you to pray for me that I would continue to honor God with my business, because I do love it and I do want to do that. So I hope you're having a good Monday. I hope this encouraged you in some way, and I will be back tomorrow at noon to tell you more.